Anyone who loved books loved Ray Bradbury, but it wasn't just book lovers. His career spanning more than 70 years, Bradbury's prolific career featured movies, radio, and theater. In fact, Ray Bradbury presented plays right in our backyard at the Fremont Center Theater in South Pasadena. Lissa Reynolds is here live to talk about the theater's special relationship with the author. Thanks for being here, Lissa.
Hey, thank you for having us, and what a sad time that Ray is gone now.
But he was here so long, it feels like we can talk, you know, he put so much out there, so much of himself that
absolutely
it's fun to talk about his life.
He was a gift to the world.
He really was. But what brought him to the Fremont Center Theater?
Well, you know, he had a theater somewhere else that had been taken through a redevelopment of that city, and so he was looking for a space, and his publicist, actually, Philip Sokoloff, had recommended he look at our space because it was in a small town, South Pasadena, inviting, friendly, and it seemed to sort of be what he was all about. And he fell in love with it and said he only wanted to do his shows there. And we actually rearranged our season that was set a year in advance just so he could come there. We thought it would be for one show, and it was a dozen shows. He did 12 shows there.
What does it feel like to have a person of that level come in and say, I want to be here?
It's extraordinary. I mean, just to have him in our lives on a regular basis and to surprise audiences by the fact that he's right there out in the garden, signing autographs, talking, letting you take a picture. He would always talk to the audience on opening nights for about a half hour before the play, and they just, loved it. And he was just such an inspirational human being.
Yeah, and I'm sure as you've been talking to people, everybody has a Ray Bradbury story because he put himself out there, till...
Yes.
I still remember going to the Festival of Books, and, one year he came in walking, charging through. A few years later he was, I remember him going through with a wheelchair and I think maybe an oxygen tank. Didn't stop him at all, and he was so giving of himself. Most writers go into solitary confinement and love that writer's life. Why do you think he put himself out there so much?
Oh, well, because I think Ray was all about love. I mean, he wrote because he loved to write, and he wrote the stories he loved that inspired him. And when he talked, it was all about love. He always said, love is always the answer. So you can't love easily all by yourself, isolated. You have to go out in the world. I remember my husband running into him on buses and things because he never drove in his whole life. So of course now he has a chauffeur that takes him around, but he used to be on buses and trains, and you would just see Ray out around people, and he wrote about people, so it makes sense.
Now I'd read that his headstone reads Ray Bradbury, author, Fahrenheit 451, obviously.
That's right, at his request.
Now, why do you think, he's so prolific? I mean, he has so many books and, TV shows and movies. Why do you think that that book really spoke to him?
Well, I can't really answer for Ray, but I did think it was interesting last year of all the places that asked him to celebrate his 90th birthday, he came to Little South Pasadena Library. He loved libraries. I mean, here you would think, he'd go someplace really exotic, but he wanted to celebrate it, and I was so proud to introduce him at his 90th birthday, which ended up being one of his last public appearances. But I think books were his passion.
Well, there's a story that he, when he was younger, a magician touched him and said, you should live forever, and he decided through writing that's how he would. And, through his work, he certainly will live forever. So we want to thank you for coming in and talking about Ray Bradbury, and hopefully we'll see more of his shows again, still, even if he doesn't make his appearance.
Hopefully so.
Okay, well, thank you so much.